What's up everyone, Morey Croson here from the Performance Lab in California. We're going to do another member video here today. The big focus is going to be on throwing the deep ball. I know from a quarterback perspective that is always the thing that we're trying to get better at, is how can we get the deep ball to be more effective, more efficient. And there's really going to be two areas that I'm really going to try to hone in on. And I know we've talked about the deep ball before, but I just want to give more and more information, more and more content on how you can get this better and just give more ideas into the process of throwing the deep ball more effectively. And even from my point of view, I get better each and every day in being able to communicate it to you guys. So with my development and communication, I want to help you in your development of throwing the football. So really the big thing here with the deep ball is, first, as you're going and as you're transitioning, what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to end up going and dropping too low when you're throwing the deep ball, okay? What you instead want to do is you want to be able to adjust your shoulder height, okay? So the shoulder movement is really, really important here in the initiation of the throw. Now the load back when you're throwing maybe like a slant or something a little bit more underneath, it's going to be much more quick, just kind of straight back. But now when you start talking about throwing something very deep, now it's going to end up, you adjust your shoulder height a little bit. And again, I'm not dropping, right? I'm not bending my knees a ton as much as I'm just making it so my front shoulder is a little bit higher up. And now from here, the ball path ends up being longer, okay? So those guys that really have a lot of strength within their throw but have those long releases, the reason is because of how much they go through that range and load for a long time in the arm, okay? And that's not bad. It makes it so now you can set yourself up for when you're, to throw the ball for a longer period of time. So when you're throwing that deep ball, it's okay to have a little bit longer load and to have that front shoulder up to make it so now you can put a lot more distance on it, okay? Next thing is, we want to make sure that foot, you get that foot down and you're still using that lower body and you're getting that transition. And that is what leads into the next critical part, which is as you're transitioning, you need to be able to get this rotation and get that stretch within that lower body to your shoulder as you're coming through. So that's one of the big things that I see, is that a lot of times with quarterbacks is that as you're shifting forward and as you're trying to get that deep ball, now you went from really good mechanics when you're here and then transferring and getting that hip to rotate open and getting that good stretch on your core. Now all of a sudden when you're here, you're trying to open up this front shoulder right away and kind of shift, and you never end up creating that nice stretch within the front part of your core, which is what makes it so that you have a harder time throwing the ball. And really that makes it so it comes off the finger the wrong way. There's so many differences that end up happening from, you're throwing the slant and how you kind of groove that shoulder movement, to now all of a sudden you're trying to throw the deep ball and you're doing these different things where your elbow needs to come out to the side, all these parts of your shoulder that aren't in the habitual way of throwing, then now it comes off your finger differently. You don't have as much force behind the ball. You're trying to use much more arm rather than body. These are all problems that we need to be able to correct, and it starts with that original shift and trying to get that rotation here. And then as we're transitioning with that back arm, what we don't want to have happen is we don't want to lift up the arm and let the elbow drop, okay? Well, you want to be able to come from here, and this is the lowest point that elbow is at, is right when that hip's starting to open up and you're really loading back here. So I'm stepping down, I'm loading, I'm trying to get that hip to start rotating, and now from here, I'm going straight up with the elbow, straight up with the ball. The ball can kind of come back a little bit, but I can't have the ball go back and then my elbow drop down. It has to be elbow coming up and ball coming back, and now you're coming right over the top and delivering the ball, okay? So those are the key fundamentals of being able to throw the deep ball and throwing it effectively. We actually kind of went into 3 points there to just go over it again. First one, make sure that you're raising up that front shoulder, right? You're not dropping down in those knees a lot, okay? It wants to be more, because if you do this and this, now you're ending up really low, and now that's gonna make it so your ability to rotate here is gonna be limited, okay? Because your knees are too bent, you're gonna impact your range of motion here, okay? So you wanna be a little bit more upright, okay? You don't wanna necessarily be knees locked out, but we wanna be slight knee bend, and then what happens is front shoulder up, back shoulder back, and then we're loading here. From here, we need to make sure that this hip loads and we're able to get a nice stretch within the core as we're initiating the throw. Then the last part is, let's make sure that this elbow doesn't drop as we're coming through. We want that elbow to come straight up. The ball can still come back behind a little bit, but we want to make sure that that elbow doesn't drop as that ball's coming up behind. All right? 3 critical parts of being able to throw the ball much more effectively. In the last few breakdowns I've done, we've gone into some of this deep ball stuff, but this is really honing in and giving some good visualization behind what it is that we're talking about. So if you don't know about the breakdowns, go and check them out on YouTube. Very, very valuable information going to how some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, how they throw, and we go into the deep ball behind their throw and what makes that very, very effective. If you guys want to look into our programs, we have the online programs. We can help with speed. We help with your ability to throw the football. We also have this whole online membership. Just trying to add more and more value to you guys. We want to make it so anywhere in the world, if you guys have access to the internet, you're going to be able to have access to getting better information to make you perform better, stay away from injuries, and also just take your game to the next level and have more awareness of what's going to make you get there. So yeah, guys, as always, thanks for watching these videos, and we'll see you soon.